Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Lisa Williams, your vision board queen, and this channel is all about all things vision board. So today I want to ask you, do you have weight loss on your vision board? If so, we are joined by the amazing Amy Bates from Beauty Rebellion. So stay tuned, and Amy is going to be sharing some amazing tips with you to help you with that weight loss journey. Hello and welcome, Amy, to the Vision Board Blueprints podcast. I am very excited to have you here. So let the ladies know exactly what it is you do.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you very much for having me. So I am a body confidence coach. I talk all about some of the reasons why we have issues with our body confidence and loads of practical tips and ideas for people to help get past that. I do a lot of work in the beauty industry, helping the beauty industry learn how to be more body positive and kind of create a much nicer world around us for us to all exist in. So that's kind of where I'm coming from and why I'm here to speak to your audience today.
Thank you. So you haven't always done this though, have you, Amy?
No, I haven't.
So what did you do before? Let us know a little bit of that background.
So I've got a bit of a colourful story because my working life actually started in the police. I was a police officer for 10 years, and left there about 9 years ago after I had my son who's about to turn 10. So when he was about one, just because my heart wasn't in it anymore. And as I know you will be, Lisa, I'm very much on a wavelength of we need our hearts to be joyful when it comes to work because we spend so much time there, don't we? So I'd retrained whilst I was still in the police to do hair and makeup for weddings. So I've spent the last 11 years doing bridal hair and makeup. I have owned a beauty salon. I've had a home salon. So dealing very much face to face with clients and all of their beauty needs, and lots of conversations about how we feel about ourselves, how much we put ourselves down. And then when COVID hit, I obviously had to close to clients, which actually was a bit of a blessing in disguise because it gave me time to pause, collect my thoughts, and sort of gather up all of this stuff that had been going on for all of the people I've been in contact with, but also reflect on my own journey with my own body, which has been very up and down and is a story all on its own. And I decided to go and retrain. So I still do some of my bridal work, but now my big focus is working with people on their own body confidence. But what I wanted to do was really drive some change in the reasons why our body image is so affected. So which is why I don't just focus on working with clients, but I actually coach within the industry to show people how to make their beauty businesses more body positive, inclusive, and diverse. Because the reality is, it can't just keep being up to us to fix our problems when actually these problems are very much being found from all of the external messaging and things like that that's going on, which is we'll delve into a little bit more in the episode. But so yeah, that's a bit of my background as to how I've ended up at this point where I'm now working with body confidence.
So it'd be safe to say that most women, or maybe men as well, actually put on their vision boards something like weight loss, health, fitness. And a lot of people have that as a goal or a vision.
Yeah.
And you yourself have also had these goals, these visions on vision boards for yourself,
Yeah.
and they didn't always work. So could you tell a little bit more about how you got past that and how you have made them to work for you?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that lot of your listeners will be able to relate to is that I had spent 17 years or so on a diet of some description. I've done every one, all of them. You struggle to find one that I haven't tried. I've spent hundreds of pounds on clubs, products, anything on that person who the marketing's just been like, yep, I can try that. That might do it this time. And that's been going on constantly since I was in my late teens, sort of 17, 18, up until I was about 34, 35. And there's no the reason for that is that I grew up with a mum who was obsessively on a diet, always on a diet. So it was something that I learned as I was growing up about the way that I approach food and the way that we eat and the way that we should look and the size of our bodies should be. I have then joined the police and had to do medical examinations where, because I was always heavier, I weighed heavier. In terms of the BMI scale that people think is the Bible, which it is not, I would always show up as obese on the BMI. So by the time I was 19, when I first joined the police, being sent away from medicals telling me that I needed to lose weight, which actually at that time I was probably a size 10 to 12 in clothes and really fit because I'd just passed all of my police medicals. So that starts to really help paint a picture of when I'm talking about the way society's set up, that those are the conversations seem normal, that we would tell a 19-year-old girl who is a small body size but a heavy weight that she needs to go and lose weight. Not helpful. Obviously, I've explained, spent a long time in the beauty industry. Beauty standards are just coming at your left, right, and centre. Conversations with people constantly talking about their bodies and how they look and stuff. So every time I feel like for 17 years, losing weight has been a constant item on my to-do list. So it would always go on my goal setting. It would always go on vision boards because it's what I've been conditioned to think is what we should be doing. And about 2 years ago, I made a decision when I hit a bit of a real point in my own personal journey after struggling really struggling to lose weight after I had my daughter. That enough was enough. So when I started to learn about body image and positive psychology and eating disorders and all of that sort of stuff, a stop on self and actively trying to lose weight and actually go through this journey of sort of healing my relationship with food, my relationship with my body. There's this almost like this new guilt that arrives, that if you've stopped trying, then you've basically abandoned your health concerns, your ability to care about yourself, that you don't care what you look like anymore. Like these little mind monkeys that go on that were telling me, like, you should, if you're trying to lose weight, it's always on your goals. Even if you're not doing it, you're still trying. And it's almost like you get a pat on the head. Well done, you're still trying, and that is all coming from external messaging and the way that society is set up, the messages we're learning from parents, potentially friends around us. Diet culture is just a massive conversation that's been really normalized in our social groups and stuff. So the biggest thing for me that allowed have some positive impact in terms of the body feeling goals that I was setting on my vision board was learning about where those goals were actually coming from. And all of those things that I've just explained to you is actually what was fueling those goals. Because 2 years on from the start of all of this work and the studying and the learning, I've come to realise that actually it's never been about the weight of my body and the size of my body. About wanting my body to be healthy, and not healthy because all the weight loss and fitness professionals tell us that we need to eat clean and all of that sort of stuff, but actually genuinely healthy for what works for my body. So learning about my body, learning about what my body needs. It was wanting it to be something that came more naturally, more comfortable, so it wasn't feeling like a constant pressure all of the time. So yeah, that's kind of like an insight into why I'm now able to come and talk to you with some things that I think will really help your listeners to refine the goals that they're putting on the vision boards in relation to their bodies. Because I think sometimes we're very generic about what we put on there, and I think exploring why and where that's coming from is going
this
to help.
goes down to general vision boarding anyway. It is about being specific, you know, and being very, and if you're just putting, I want to lose 1 stone, okay, that, yeah, it's a specific figure, but how are you going to get that 1 stone? How are you going to get that, you know, what does that 1 stone mean to you? And getting those feelings and really understanding what you actually need to do in order to achieve that. Now, for me personally, I actually, it takes me a lot to lose a few pounds. It doesn't come naturally to me. You know, it's not a natural thing. Like, my weight does not come off easily, whereas some people can lose weight really, really easy and then put it on just as quick. Whereas I'm very slow. I'm a much slower person at losing weight, but it takes me a lot to actually lose that 1 pound. And understanding that about my body and not getting frustrated with myself and then going, oh, forget it, let's leave it today. You know, what's the point in trying? You know, we all getting back in those negative mindsets. So if someone is listening now and they have got maybe a health goal or maybe a weight loss goal or a body image goal or anything regarding that. I know myself personally, I'm actually on my own health weight loss journey at the minute. But for me, it's around, I suffer with IBS. So that then makes me feel more tired and I feel more lethargic. So this year, rather than focusing on wanting to lose weight on the scales, I focused on working on my gut's health. And then that has then made me, you know, join a fit club. It's made me do a step challenge. It's made me think about what I'm actually eating and changing those habits that is going to benefit that gut health. Now, I've never ever done that before. I've always just put, I want to lose weight. It's very much looking at, like you said, it has to be more programmed to what you need and what is going to benefit you. So if someone is here listening or watching, what is it that you could advise if they have got that health or weight loss goal on that vision board?
So what I really would say is what you've just said there, Lisa, is spot on, because what I want them to do is just pause for a minute and ask themselves the question, why? Okay, so that will end themselves in a very different place depending on how these questions get answered. So using your example, I want to lose weight or I want to improve my gut health, right, are 2 really different things that will probably end you up in the same place, but the focus is really different. So when you put in, I want to lose weight, why do I want to lose weight? Because I want to be smaller. Why do you want to be smaller? Because I compliments when I'm smaller, or I think my husband will love me more when I'm smaller, or whatever it might be. You've got to dig those down, because some of those will be quite negatively charged, if you get what I'm saying. Some of those will be because my ankles hurt less when I'm smaller, because my something else. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but thinking about what it is that's motivating those reasons for putting weight loss on there. Because, and also,
so let's use this as my example then. So ask me, why do I want to focus on my gut health?
Okay, so tell me, Lisa, why do you want to focus on your gut health?
So I get less stomach cramps.
Okay, and why do you want to have less stomach cramps?
So that I'm not as tired and drained from being on the toilet all the time, basically.
Okay, and why do you not want to be tired and drained and being on the toilet all of the time?
Because I have got a lot of, you know, I work in my business full time. I've got 2 children. I need to have more energy. So having that energy is going to be really beneficial for me and my business.
And why is it going to be beneficial for you and your business?
So that I can give more to my clients, so that I can give more to the family, and I've got more energy to grow my business.
And what is having less energy stopping you from doing? Where do you get stuck? What does it stop you from achieving?
It stops me from having that motivation all the time. Like, I'm a very motivated person, but I know that when I have had a flare up, it does really pull my energies down.
Yeah.
And then what I tend to do is to keep going. I then binge on the stuff that I don't need, like chocolate. So if I've got more energy, I won't need that quick fix of chocolates or biscuits
Yeah.
or something. So there has been a cycle and a
Yeah.
pattern that I've got into. So if
Yeah.
I was to able to help my gut health, then I can actually take that chocolate away a little bit more. Like, I'm not saying I'm
Yeah.
ever not going to eat it
Yeah.
again
Yeah.
because I absolutely love chocolate,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to use it for my quick fixes.
Yeah.
And those
And
quick fixes help me stay motivated to keep going.
and that's fantastic. And ultimately, if we were to keep going down with those, then that is because why is your business important? Business is important because
Yeah.
it's providing the finance for you and your family to live the life that you want to live. If you don't have that, then how's that going to affect? So actually, what something that starts off as a very simple goal of I want to improve my gut health actually has got a lot of emotion attached to that, a lot of reasons, a lot of motivation attached to it. And it's those motivations and those emotions that are at the bottom of that gut health goal that are really important. Now, for you, they are very positive reasons for you putting gut health on your list. For me, when I was putting weight loss on my list as a goal, the reality was that the reason that weight loss was on there is because I thought that that's what I should always be doing. I felt like if I was a couple of stone heavier than I was 10 years ago, that I'm failing, that I'm not doing as well as I should be, that I'm letting myself down, that my body doesn't look very nice, that my husband won't fancy me anymore. And actually, when you start digging into the reasons that that weight loss goal was on there, they're not positively charged. And so actually those motivations for getting moving are things that needed to be dealt with. There were things that needed to be unpicked. And by doing that, actually, the goal was never weight loss. The goal was actually wanting to have a healthy body. So my body is about 4.5 stone heavier than what used to be my goal weight. But I'm currently training. Running the London Marathon next month.
I did
With my
see your
best friend.
stories yesterday on
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So I've been training for the London Marathon. So at around about, I haven't weighed myself for a long time, but I reckon I was probably about 16 stone the last time I weighed myself, and I'm a size 16 to 18 in my clothes now, and I'm still out doing. I've been out getting my mileage up to like 14 miles. I've been able to run so far, and that the whole idea that a person whose body is the size that mine is can get out and run for 14 miles, we don't think that that's possible. We don't think that we have those capabilities because weight and size ends up creating, like, we create these stories about what it means.
Yeah.
The things that I put in my body. I mean, we could talk for hours about my journey because I've had to do a lot of work on things, but part of that is learning to heal my relationship with food, because the diet, the excessive amount of dieting created some real strange feelings with food. But now I've learned to listen to my body, to nourish my body with the food that it actually needs, because I'm training at the moment. I obviously have to repair my muscles and give it the energy things. So the weight actually is totally irrelevant to how I actually want in life with the body that I have, because actually how I want to show up is I want to be out exercising for fun with my children, out bike riding, and where I'm training for running, they'll get on the bikes and they'll come with me, and we do stuff as a family. And the kids to learn to be to have that healthy lifestyle where exercise is there for fun and enjoyment, and not because it's changing the way my body looks. It's been quite a different experience to run and not be doing it for weight loss, and actually just be doing it with gratitude in mind, gratitude for what my body is capable of. And doing it knowing that the friend that I'm training with, she is going through chemotherapy at the moment. So really checking myself when I'm feeling a bit mopey about my body, that actually it's not got cancer, and it's not having to deal with chemotherapy. It's a totally different mindset approach to the relationship with my body that when I've done all of this work, actually was never really about the weight.
So
The weight was being
let's go.
fueled from elsewhere.
Let's go a little bit deeper then, Amy, in terms of, so if someone was to have obviously that goal of, you know, weight loss on a vision board, or it's always, I'm on a diet again. Oh, you're always on a diet. And someone's living that yo-yo dieting, I call it.
Yes.
So a lot of women do live that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's something I've been guilty of in my life. I've, you know, from the age of 17, I remember starting my first diet. I think I was put on Weight Watchers at 17, and then I was probably a size 12. Okay. And that's kind of, so I've always been programmed that I'm bigger. Okay.
Yeah.
That has been a program that I have lived with since I was around 17 years old by a family friend at the time. So it's always been there for me. It's always been something. I was the bigger one, and I wasn't the slim, skinny girl. Now, for me, it wasn't until I actually started working on myself that I accepted my body and loved me for my body. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have a problem with my weight. Now, I'm doing what I'm doing because I know I can feel better, healthier if I actually focused on that gut health.
Yeah.
So if someone was there now and they are that yo-yo dieting person and they wanted to stop that and actually fall in love with who they are and their own body, what advice or what tips have you got for them to start doing that?
Okay, so couple of things. First of all, that your friend was doing that is because as a society we value thinness. Okay, it's how it's set up that we think that thin bodies are better than fat bodies. Okay, so if you are somebody who's in a bigger body, the first thing to know is that that is okay, and the reason that you don't think it's okay is because that's what society tells us. All right, so that's a really key thing, and there's some really clear reasons of where that comes from. But I want to try and stay quite practical on things that they can go and do. But I think it's really key to note that. So if you are stuck in dieting cycle, the first thing to do, this is the first part of the Body Confidence Master Plan. So the book that I released last year, it's broken into 5 sections, and the first part of that is reflection and understanding. All right, and it's hard work, you know, Lisa, you've been through a self-awareness journey, and we're on it forever. Once you get started with it, it's just there, you're constantly learning. But we've got to look at where some of that has come from, and me and you have been able to both be really honest about where some of those feelings have come from about our bodies, because we are picked up on people that have said things, feelings that we've had, experiences that we've had, lessons we've learned from other people. So that first part is really, really important, because if you don't understand what's motivating those feelings and where they're coming from, then we don't know how to stop. Like, we don't know how to change them, how to reword them, how to use your affirmations to get a more, you know, to retrain how the things are showing up. So that's the first thing, is to actually spend some time and look at, like we were saying earlier, if it's going on your vision board, if weight loss is going on there, where's that coming from? What's motivating you to want to lose weight? And they're not always that, you know, I don't want people to think that when I talk about body image that it's anti-weight loss. If weight loss is the right thing for you, and it's not being motivated from a negative place and a place of hate and a place of guilt and shame, because that's unfortunately is often the reason that it is. So that would be the first thing. The second thing that will help to the world a better, nicer place for you to exist in whilst you are trying to lose weight, if that is something that you decide is the main focus on your vision board. I mean, what I would really hope people have been able to pick up from the conversation that we've had is that potentially that goal is maybe different. And so is it something you can reset? Is it the weight loss, or is it the gut health, for example? Is it feeling good in a particular outfit that you want to wear? because actually feeling good in a particular outfit doesn't mean that you need to get smaller. What that might actually be something that's quite simple is buying it in a bigger size, which we're also very reluctant to do. But you see, when you start to get more clear on what you're trying to do, are we trying to lose weight for a wedding because we have got all eyes on us and we want to feel feel like we're expected to look a certain way for the wedding, etc. So really starting to unpick some of that. But in the meantime, doing something that I call creating a body positive world around you, because this is a real practical, easy way to just make the influences around you and the messaging that's coming in much more positive. So you're happy for me to delve into a couple of things that are good for that, Lisa?
I'm just going to say, I think my wedding dress would probably fit me better now than it did on my wedding day.
Well, I shall tell you something, mine does not, because I was on like such a weight loss and fitness regime when I was getting married that this is half of the problem, because then I found out I was pregnant within a week, within 3 days of getting married. So my life changed forever. As soon as I was married, I was pregnant and having babies, and then beating myself up going, well, why can't I work out the way I used to and eat the way I used to? And what? So things change, don't they? Our lives change. We change, circumstances change. So, you know, that's it. It's mad, isn't it? And this whole, I mean, the weddings is a whole of I've spent my whole life talking about weddings, and it gets really obsessive at wedding days because of a pressure. And that's where a bit of honesty about what's fueling it and motivating it can actually really help you to see where the pressure's coming from.
And like you said, a lot of brides do feel the pressure to look a certain way, to, you know, everyone's looking at them, and some people don't like it. You know, I have a friend who was really anxious on her wedding because she didn't like that attention. So it does put that pressure on people, doesn't it? So you dive into the information that you wanted to share with the listeners.
So one of my favourite things to do is called clean your feed. All right, clean your social media feed. Social media, for most people, they hang out on there a lot. If you go in and have a little look at your phone, it'll tell you how long you're hanging out on there. So what we want to do is make sure that that is a really positive place to hang out from a body image point of view. So go and have a look at who you are following, what's coming up on that feed. If you are somebody who is following lots of fitness people, beauty people, brands that don't represent diverse bodies, all of that sort of stuff, your feed is going to be constantly filling your head with images of what bodies are supposed to look like that are made up by about 1% of the population, because actually the reality is that normal people have got normal bodies. So we want your brain to be seeing more of that. So if you are following people who are making you question yourself all of the time, you need to be tuning in and listening to that. How are you feeling when you're on there? What accounts are making you go, oh God, I should be losing some weight, or I shouldn't have eaten that pizza, or I shouldn't have done whatever? Because we want to start to minimize the contact that we're having with that all of the time, and actually build up some variety in your feed. So if you are in a bigger body, or a body that is disabled, or a body that has whatever skin color you've got, or your whatever gender you are, whatever it is, have bodies on your feed that look like your body, okay? And also have bodies on your feed that look different. So that's for two reasons. One, if you're only ever looking at bodies that are very, very different to you, it will keep reinforcing that your body is not right the way that it is. And what you need to then do is also see other bodies that are different to yours, again, to help reinforce the message that all bodies are different. They're all made up different. They all need different things. So it's really trying to build some variety in your feed. All right. And get really practical about who you follow. So, I mean, there's some body image like influencers that are really good who talk about this a lot, so that you're getting some really positive messaging in there, and unfollow or block or mute people that are making you feel uncomfortable. And if you are getting, Facebook and Instagram are particularly bad for adverts. So if you have searched weight loss, talked about anything negative to do with your body, you are going to get bombarded with adverts for it. What you can do is you can turn them off.
I've noticed that since I've been talking about my weight and lose it and doing my fit camp thing, that I've got more adverts come up around weight loss, around like pulling you in knickers and things like that, and different things. And yeah, I have noticed that actually.
And what happens is, though, so you're on a journey here, Lisa, to try and improve your gut health, right? And you're doing that by improving some of the foods that you're eating that are good for your gut, and improving the amount and variety of exercise that you're doing. What you don't then need is to keep being bombarded with messages about the fact that your body needs to get smaller, because that's not what you're doing, but that's what those adverts will be telling you. Suck your body in, you know, try this weight loss thing, try this fitness thing. And the problem is, the fitness industry, like the beauty industry, their standards are not good enough at the moment when it comes to inclusion and diversity. The majority of fitness stuff is all aimed at small, toned, muscly bodies that are not a true representation. And it still comes with a big message of failure if you're not achieving a body that looks like that. And that's not a pot that there's no need for the fitness industry to constantly be doing that to us, because actually that's not what fitness is. Fitness is about having a healthy relationship with your body, moving your body, and all of those. And so until they start being more diverse and having better representation on the types of bodies that they share, they're just reinforcing this bad negative message. So it is really important to see. I'm not saying don't have a PT, don't go to exercise classes, do all of those things. They are important for us to feel good. They release your endorphins and your dopamine hit and all of that sort of stuff. But be aware of how they are marketing to us and the messaging that's coming across from there. So, and social media is I always go to that one because it's quite a common one that people,
and that's where, like you said,
difference.
most people spend more time socializing on social media than what they do actually in person. So if you are seeing these things on social media, that makes absolute sense that, you know, you don't want those negative messages, and you don't want that reinforcement of your body is not right. So so what's the next step then, Amy? What would you?
So you've alluded to this already, Lisa, with your gut health. So if there is something about that or something negative in your life, whether that's your energy levels, your stress levels, you have really painful periods, perimenopause, your gut, whatever it might be, if you can identify more detail on where you think the improvements can be, then you can start to make some positive changes in that direction. So it might well be that you are wanting to eat well for energy, eat well to improve my IBS. You want to eat well to make your periods pains less. There's loads out there about eating for your monthly cycle and stuff like that. So get a bit more specific, I think, with what you're trying to achieve from the actual improvements that you want to make, because that stuff we've just said there about your phone looking at things, it'll send you the right information and the right stuff rather than just constant weight loss things.
So that ties in quite nicely, Amy, because one of the things that I do in terms of with vision boarding is I ask ladies or clients to check in with their vibration levels. And I get them to fill in a wheel of vibration, and this covers different areas of our life. So we've got family, personal, health, and if your health is on a lower vibration, then you're going to constantly be fighting that vibration. So if your family is up here on a high vibration and then your health is down here, then there's going to be this constant energy battle in terms of your vibration. So that is something that is really important. So what Amy has just said there about finding out what you actually want to achieve it for and why, and that's really important because that will also help your vibration levels. So for me, my health has always been the lowest one. Every time I do my wheel of vibration, every month, it is the lowest one. There's no question about it. So I've always looked at, what can I do? How can I improve that? So I started making sure I drink water every day, and then making sure that I eat healthily, you know, and then it's kind of progressed now to the stage where I want to focus on one specific thing. But if I hadn't been doing those regular check-ins, my health would have deteriorated massively a long time ago.
Yeah, that's really interesting, Lisa. And one of the things that's just jumped out when you were talking then as well is about so when I talked earlier about having to sort of like relearn, heal up a relationship with food, one of the big things that's helped me with that is something called intuitive eating. And intuitive eating is all about listening to your body, and when it's hungry, you eat when you're hungry. You stop eating when you're satisfied, which is something I had completely lost all triggers for satisfaction, because I was eating way past being full because I was concerned about when I would eat next for various reasons. Intuitive eating is about having no good and bad foods. So it basically removes diet culture, all of the things we've learned from Slimming World, Weight Watchers, Atkins, all of the things, and just bringing you back to a balance that food is food, and there's no, you're not a better person if you eat salad every day. It's about learning and about allowing yourself to eat whatever food you want, because the more we restrict it, the more we want it. So it's a big process to go through, but intuitive eating principles work really well to, I think, when you're talking about vibration, to change the positive energy that goes out around food. Because when you're in weight loss mode and you are restricting, it's not positive energy that is in that direction. It is a lot of noise around food that actually doesn't need to be there in that way if you're tuned into to eating for yourself. So that's just, I don't want to go in, not going to go into loads of detail about intuitive eating. It's a massive subject, but if anybody's listening and thinking, well, I don't understand what to do if I'm not dieting, then I'm just pigging out and I'm just going crazy, and there's no in between. There is an in between, and that in between is called intuitive eating. And I cannot tell you how much that has changed my life. So if you're feeling like you need the answer, that may well be the answer. So you can go and start doing a bit more digging around on that, or by all means come to me directly and I can give you some more help and guidance with where to get started with it. All right, so
Amazing.
that was one of the things that I just wanted to touch on there.
So the next step, in terms of, obviously we've got to remove social media, looking at what they can do to start helping themselves, listen to their bodies. So is there a next step that you could recommend?
Yeah, so one of the other things that is in the Body Confidence Master Plan, in creating the body positive world around you, is there's quite a bit in there, but one of the easiest things that you can do to help, where you're talking about raising your vibration and the feelings and the feel good, is to refresh your wardrobe. And again, this is something, there will be people listening who are heavy in diet culture like I have been, who, when I say have a wardrobe that is full of clothes that actually fit and make you feel comfortable and make you feel good, who will say, can't buy bigger clothes because as soon as I give in to buying bigger clothes, I've failed and I've given up. Because again, I've been there. Okay, when I wasn't,
I don't even like the label on clothes these days is ridiculous, and it's deceiving, isn't it? It makes people feel bad.
100%.
You could buy something in a size 10 here and a 14 there, and it be like completely the same size. It's just, and I was in a group today. It's around a colour group, actually. There's a lovely lady that runs it called Sarah Heron, and she shared some tips around jeans, and she's like, just buy the ones that are comfy for you. If it makes you feel better, cut the label out. And I was like, do you know what? That is so true.
Yeah, it absolutely is, Lisa, because actually, obviously, when we're setting vision boards, these vision boards are for us to be like the best version of ourselves and living the best life that we want to live, right? And every day that you get up and you put on a pair of jeans that don't fit, right? Or you put on clothes that you're fidgeting in and they're tight, pulling tight across your boobs, or you feel like your belly's on display from them, or whatever the things are that are going around our heads that are making us criticize ourselves, right? Ultimately, that means that day you're going out with a low vibe, right? You're going to feel crap, and you're just not going to put your best self out there. But we often do that because we go, oh, I've been eating too much recently, and I just need to lose a bit of weight, and then my clothes, they'll be fine. And that can keep going on and on and on. And actually, the easiest way to solve that problem is to actually just have clothes in your wardrobe that light you up, that make you feel good, that fit you really well, that fit you comfortably, that you can get up in the morning and spend 2 minutes picking your outfit instead of half an hour because you have to keep taking things off because you feel rubbish in them.
Yeah.
And so refreshing your wardrobe is a really good one. And I'll go into more detail in the book about actually how to have a good experience of refreshing your wardrobe, because we're thinking about, when we go shopping, how we feel when we go shopping, the people that we might go shopping with, shopping online and all of that sort of stuff. But the general gist of it is to actually have a look at that. So, just go in there, find the things that make that when you take it out, look at it. If you think that makes me feel crap, it needs to go. All right, it needs to go. And you can do, when I say go, that can be whatever you want it to be. I don't advocate much for putting it up in the loft and keeping it just in case, because I think it perpetuates the cycle. Yeah. But if this is new to you and you're a bit reluctant to just throw out or charity shop stuff, then do what you want to do with it. But get it out the way, go and treat yourself. And treat yourself can be anything from charity shop, doing a swap with some friends who might maybe have got things that will
There's
work
loads
better
of
for
pre-loved sites on Instagram these
stuff.
days.
You
Yeah,
don't have
vintage.
to go and spend loads,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
treat yourself to some things, and some things that are like really easy to put together. So, skinny jeans and a blazer and a t-shirt, you can't go wrong with that, because you can dress it up, you can dress it down, you can do the things, but make your wardrobe really work for you, because that is going to make a massive difference to how you show up every day, which will make a difference to your energy. It will make a difference to the things that you achieve, the way that you present yourself to other people. And I do feel that like as we said right back at the very beginning, when we're focusing on weight as our goal, what are we missing out on in the time that we're waiting for that goal to get achieved? Because actually we could still be showing up and strutting our stuff and doing our thing, even when we're in the body that we are in right now. And I don't want people to hold themselves back or delay getting some of the things that they can get because of this reason.
Yeah.
So
I personally have had stories come to me saying, oh, I couldn't speak on a stage because I'm too big. Okay. Or when I lose weight, I'll do that. When I lose weight, I'll go on that holiday. Okay. And these are the things that I don't want to see. So this is why Amy is here today. So Amy has got an amazing book out, okay, that you can go out and purchase, okay, and take away her tips to help you. Amy, how else can you help the ladies or gentlemen that are listening in terms of, their body confidence?
So I have got a program that's called the Body Confidence Master Plan, and it's basically a massive upgrade on the book. The book is something you go away, you do it yourself. The program is something that you do with me as a teacher to help you work through this and really help to sort of imprint it. So it's an 8-week program. So if it's something that people have identified, actually this is an area that's really holding them back with things, then that might be something else that they want to look into. But what I'd say is, I am brand new to your audience, so drop me a message. Let's have a chat, see what's going to work best. And if people have got questions, this for a lot of people, some of the stuff that I talk about is quite new. Like when I use phrases like diet culture and we live in a society that values thin bodies over fat bodies, some of these things, and it's new information to people, and and when you're in the middle of that, it can also be a little bit confronting, and that's okay, because actually it's stuff we've got to unlearn because it's been going on for a very, very long time.
Yeah. And so,
and
it's society that's created these imprints into us, isn't it? So what would you like to leave the audience with today? What's the one tip you want them to take away in order of them achieving that vision, that dream, to have that body confidence?
I want them to know that they are not alone. Okay. There is nothing wrong with their body, and that the most important thing about them is their mind and their heart and their soul, which is all of the things that Lisa is helping them to work. You're helping your audience to work on those things and feel what's actually in their mind and their hearts, and get that life. And that the body that we live in, it literally is the vehicle that takes us on that destination that you are putting on your vision board. And I would just love it if the world could understand that because we would be achieving so much more, so much more. It just stops us achieving so much, that time that we spend worrying about what we look like.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So just recap, where can people find you?
So I am on Facebook and Instagram as The Beauty Rebellion. And I've got a website called beautyrebellion.co.uk. You can drop me a message and come and introduce yourself. And
so I
we're all
will
good.
drop all the links in the comments as well. So do check out that. And obviously just recap on how they can work with you. Obviously, we've mentioned the book, and then do you want to recap on the master plan?
Yeah, so we've got the book, and we've got an 8-week program that is an online program that they can do, that will take them through all of these things in a lot of detail, lots of exercises, meditations, some guest speakers in there that will help to solidify a lot of this and just really change the course of where life is heading when it comes to body image. So
amazing. Well, Amy, we could have spoke forever, okay, but we have run out of time. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Wow, what an amazing session that was with the lovely Amy. Do make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to learn more about vision boards and how they can help you. And don't forget to head over and follow Amy to learn more about loving yourself, because you are worthy of that love. Take care, and I will see you guys next week for our next YouTube video.